believe in coincidences.
Killed my cat! So it was thought. But Vecna lives!
I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to believe more and more in Conformity Gate. Like, when I first saw this theory, I thought this was all just cope for the bad ending that we got. But man, the proof is piling up. Like, this all just might be Vecna's vision. What got me was them pointing out that Steve's a baseball coach, only cause every time Vecna has seen Steve, he has been using a baseball bat. Or how the dial changed color midway through the season, just like the merry-go-round did for Holly when she was stuck in Vecna's mind. Or how all the houses in the final episode had the Mr. What's-It board game in the background shots. Like, if all of this is just a coincidence, that's crazy. If it is all just a coincidence, I already know that the Duffer Bros are scrambling to get the actors all back together for one last episode to make this happen. There's just no way that all of this stuff happened by chance.
Alright, the first thing I have to say, like fresh off the boat, right off the bat, welcome to the loony bin, Stranger Things fans. Welcome to the loony bin. Because exactly what you guys are thinking and saying about Conformity Gate, the Attack on Titan fandom has gone through the same exact thing. With an ending so bad, it can only be a satirical thing where everything is purposely the worst fucking way for each of the characters. So you, the audience, can put the Easter eggs together and be like, well, this character would never do this. That character would never do that. Levi with Falco and Gabby? Why ever, right? Oh, warning, spoilers for Attack on Titan and Stranger Things Season 5, right? Welcome to the loony bin, because your Conformity Gate is literally what Attack on Titan AOE was. Now, if you do not know, Attack on Titan ended, 2-3 years ago? I don't remember. I don't think about that time period at all, because it was traumatic, right? When a show you cared about so much ends so horribly. For Attack on Titan, us fans have spent 10 years invested in that show. Buying all the merch, buying all the books, sitting down for the show as well. Stranger Things fans, you guys have been fans for 10 years too, right? So of course you're clinging on to hope. And selfishly, I hope it does end exactly how it ended already. Selfishly, that's what I'm hoping. Just so another fandom can feel the pain that we felt. Now, I'm a casual fan of Stranger Things. I've seen seasons 1 through 4, right? I have not watched the final season yet. And to be honest, I don't even know why I was watching it, right? I'm not super deep in the lore. I don't really care for D&D. I only paid glued attention to the screen for season 1. Seasons 2, 3, and 4, I was kind of just watching just to, see where these characters end up, but I wasn't that invested. I was invested in, Eddie and, Chrissy, that stuff was good, but I wasn't that invested, not gonna lie. With Mike and 11, I never cared for them, as a couple, as, bond or whatever. I just never cared for that stuff. I cared about Eddie, I cared about Will, and I cared about the friendship of the boys more than anything. I also thought it was super interesting when we got 11's backstory with Papa and all of that stuff. And I cared about Hopper and 11. They had a really interesting dynamic as well. Now I can't say whether or not I think this Conformity Gate shit is going to happen. At least you guys don't have that long to wait. I mean, it's 2 days or whatever, however long it is, depending on when you watch this video. That's what you have left to wait. But I do want to include my feed all day has been conformity gate this, conformity gate that. I don't even go on TikTok. All right, I watch reels, and all of my reels have been conformity gate this, this, and that. So I did want to include a little compilation at the end of this video. Maybe I'll timestamp it. I don't know. But for you Stranger Things fans who are here, for that is going to be at the end of this video. I just want to rant my little 5.5 cents first that, yeah, I'm rooting against you guys. I don't care. Attack on Titan ended with chapter 139, and the fans, the people who actually cared about Attack on Titan, right? Because I could watch Stranger Things season 5 right now, and I could think, oh yeah, well that didn't end too bad. Whatever, it ended fine, I guess. Like it ended okay. But I'm not a deep fan. I don't care about the character arcs. I don't care about much in the series. I was just watching for entertainment. I only cared really about Will and, the friendship. Oh, as long as the boys stay friends, like shit like that. Like that's all I pretty much cared about. So I would watch it and I would have a completely different experience than someone who is deep in the lore, who cares about these characters, who cares about their plot lines and, keeping shit in character and blah, 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 blah. The same thing goes for the Attack on Titan fandom. There were fans who would, read the manga and, have years and months to sit with this and be like, oh my God, this story is so big. It's so huge. There's all of this, like, blah, blah, blah. And so when you spend that much time in a fandom that you adore so much, you get this, like, very personal relationship and understanding of the characters. And so when something ends and it doesn't feel right, you have more authority on the casual fan who's like, oh, well, I thought it was pretty good, because you are the what's the word? You're the more dedicated fan. You are the one who's been paying more attention. You are the one who's been taking notes, making posts, making theories, because you have a more informed understanding of these characters. Because you're more engaged with the work. Because you've invested more time, more attention, more thought, and more care. Same thing goes for Game of Thrones, right? That's allegedly one of the worst endings of all time. Now, I will admit, I watched Game of Thrones, and I was pretty much only interested in Jon and Daenerys, and obviously the Stark family. I wanted them to be okay and whatnot. So I don't know, like, yeah, I guess Tyrion was a little stupid in the last seasons, right? Oh, yeah, like, I guess, Brienne of Tarth, like, Jaime, like, maybe they never would do that shit, whatever, like, whatever, right? I am not the authority on whether or not Game of Thrones ended like shit or not. I thought it was fine. But I'm not the authority because I'm not a book reader. And I wasn't watching that intently. Every character or watching for character arcs or whatever. So my opinion, when I say, spoiler for Game of Thrones, when I say that, yeah, I could see how Daenerys could go from, this Misa, this mother figure, this breaker of chains, to then just full of rage, like, outpouring her rage and loneliness onto this group of people by killing everyone in King's Landing. I could see what would take somebody from being the breaker of chains to being the destroyer of everything, right? I can see what made her take that route. I do agree, like, maybe a whole nother season to break up the White Walkers fight and, give Daenerys a little more time to develop, give us a few more clues into her, like, mental struggles and her anguish with being, feeling lonely, feeling not respected in the North and all of this stuff, right? Give us a little more time with that, then boom. Like, that would have been perfect. But again, I'm not the authority because I'm not a book reader. I didn't watch that intently. Same thing with Stranger Things. I could watch it and finish it today. Today, voice crack. And I still won't be an authority on it because I just don't have that relationship with the series. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to compare my experience being an AoE schizo, which is what the people in the Attack on Titan fandom referred to the anime original ending, AoE, as. And in our fandom, we were seen as psychos, we were seen as copers, because the end was so freaking bad to us that we're like, we people who actually care deeply about the themes of the story and the character arcs and the foreshadowing and blah, 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 blah. We saw the ending that we got and we thought there is no way that this is not satire. Like, we knew in our heart of hearts that it was satire. We knew it was. But it turns out that it wasn't. So, as a hater, I'm hoping that it's the same for you guys. I'm hoping that your writers drop the ball. But I do have to say that call me schizo, call me gullible, call me naive. I believe in Conformity Gate. I really do. It checks out, right? It checks out. And I don't necessarily think that so many people would, actually, never mind, because that's what happened for Attack on Titan. That's what happened for Game of Thrones when Dany kind of forgot about the fucking fleet. And it ends in one of them killing one of her dragons, right? Like, that stuff's really bad. And you would think that somebody on the team would be like, hey, like, that doesn't make any sense for a character to overlook something like that. Or, hey, it doesn't make sense to change Aaron's character and his motivations in literally the last episode to where he doesn't even know why he's doing the rumbling, or he did it to make his friends heroes, but he didn't know that if they would survive the rumbling, so it's not even possible that he did it to make them superheroes, and his mind was all messed up, and like all of this stuff that just throwing at a wall to see what sticks. No, not good. I actually do think that the outcome will be better for Stranger Things fans. I do think this is all intentional, but like I just said, it wouldn't be the first time or the second time that we put a lot of faith in a writer or in an author or in a producer or whatever, and we get the egg on our face. Anyway, so if you believe in Conformity Gate, I do think, you're valid in believing in it, but also don't hold your breath. For my Attack on Titan fans and for Stranger Things people still with me, I'm going to put more Conformity Gate evidence in videos in the end of this video. You can watch along. I will not be back for final commentary, but Attack on Titan fans specifically, I want you to listen to these people and try not to get PTSD challenged, because they literally sound like us when we were coping about the ending. Because it was so bad. Like, when shit ends so bad, you have to assume that there's more than what meets the eye going on, because yeah, you'll look fucking psychotic, because you would think a good author would never, but sometimes they just do. Never say never. So listen to the way that these fans put this shit together and tell me if it reminds you of how we were trying to solve the mystery behind why chapter 139 or the last episode of Attack on Titan was so horrendously bad.
Conformity Gate isn't real, then why is Steve Harrington a baseball coach when his sport is basketball? It's almost like Vecna only knows him as a baseball player. What a weird coincidence. Speaking of coincidences, if Conformity Gate is not real, then why did they put so much emphasis on Lucas's line, I don't believe in coincidences, and have absolutely no payoff from that in what we saw of the finale? Was episode 8 really the Stranger Things finale? Are we all under Vecna's curse? Or are the Duffers simply just poor writers. This is Conformity Gate, the theory that episode 8, season 5 of Stranger Things was not actually the finale. Really are way too many coincidences. Let's go through them. Why in the WWE crossover episode with Stranger Things was there somebody very prominently holding a sign that said "Wake Up Mike"? And why is Vecna Lives written on the inside of the Squawk Radio flashlight? Why so many Truman Show references? Why, when you type into Netflix fake ending and Conformity Gate, does it show you Stranger Things? Why did that dial change colors? We never got an explanation for that. In the epilogue, why are Karen's fresh scars very prominent 1 minute and then the next minute they're gone? Keep in mind this was supposedly on the same day. It's because we're under Vecna's curse. The Thing poster that is in Mike Wheeler's basement. The Thing is a movie about a fake reality. Hello? In the epilogue, why is everybody standing like Henry Creel? These people are flayed out of their minds. When Max, Lucas, Will, Dustin, and Mike all have their D&D binders on the bookshelf at the end, why does it conveniently spell out X a lie? X as in Dimension X is a lie? The Duffers, the producers, nobody on the cast have just straight up said, no, Conformity Gate is not real. Nobody's denying it. There are just too many coincidences. I'm sorry, there are too many coincidences. Maybe this really was because of poor writing and laziness, but I just refuse to believe that. Like Lucas said, I don't believe in coincidences. I do think that we're getting another episode tomorrow, and if we don't, then whatever. It was fun being in psychosis with you. Anyways, are you a believer? Let me know in the comments if you believe in Conformity Gate or not. I think I do. I think I believe.
Holy shit, wait a minute. This motherfucker Eddie was actually cooking in season 4. If you've been on social media in the last week, you know that the most popular theory going around right now is Conformity Gate. And this theory alludes to the rising suspicion that the group might actually have not won against Vecna. Now hold up, I know what you're saying, but dude, we've seen the entire finale. We know how it ends. But do you? Now just think for a second. You're telling me that everything we have seen from this show, from season 1 all the way to season 5, they are going to give this show the most cookie cutter ending of all time? I mean, bro, they defeated Vecna in like 5 minutes tops. Are you seriously telling me that this is how they're going to end the show? Now, if you're sitting there not being able to believe this ending, don't worry. This is where Conformity Gate comes in. Quick little warning, this might make me sound insane, but guess who else sounded exactly like that? Joyce back in season 1. And guess who else ended up being correct? Joyce. Now, for starters, let's begin by watching more so, though, listening to the very first thing we get in the epilogue. If you didn't hear that shit, please go back and watch it again. But if you did, that was the exact same sound effect given to the heartbeat of the Mind Flare. And honestly, bro, that is only the tip of the iceberg that is Conformity Gate. Now let's go back to season 4 when Will painted this for Mike, which shows them fighting this huge, ginormous, 3-headed monster that we never got a conclusion to. This monster is actually supposed to be the false Hydra, a horrific, many-headed aberration that hides in plain sight, singing a psychic song that makes people forget it exists and forget anyone it eats, causing bewildering memory gaps and gaslighting an entire town as it grows, making it a challenging but terrifying psychological horror encounter. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that shit alone sounds pretty good, but there is tons of evidence to support this. For starters, while Robin makes her guest appearance back on the Squawk after 18 months, this is what she had to say about Hawkins. This isn't even the Hawkins that I remember. It feels different. Like, what the fuck does she mean by that? And now we fast forward a couple scenes later when we see this group on the top of the Squawk just shooting the shit. Look at what Steve had to say about Hawkins. I mean, look at this place. The sunset. The view. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that sounds eerily familiar to The Truman Show. I mean, just look at this scene. Look at that sunset, Truman. It's perfect. Now, this is where shit starts to sound a little too good to even be true. Look at this Time magazine cover showcasing the cast of Stranger Things. And you know what's crazy about that? The fact that we were dead ass just talking about the comparisons from Stranger Things to The Truman Show. Like, why the hell would they make the backdrop of this cover be clouds? Like, genuinely, what is the purpose of it? Future canon here, I just found even more bullshit about this magazine. Look at this. Inside the upside down world of Netflix's biggest show ever, guess what else was the biggest show ever? The Truman Show. Now hold on, because we're not finished. We're about to dive even deeper. If you actually go to the Stranger Things Squawk website and click on Access Gear, this shows up and it gives you a bunch of random information. But in the middle, it says Bootleg Tapes Volume 3, Status Lost? Duffer Bros, what the fuck does that mean? Now, this is kind of reaching, but honestly, bro, we're this deep. What isn't? If you look at the end credit scene for Stranger Things at the very end of the episode, it shows us this, a Stranger Things player manual, but to the side of it, it is a dice rolled on the number 7. Now, hang in there with me. If you go to the actual Netflix Twitter account, or I guess any other social medias, they have posted this video with a description saying your future is on its way, hashtag what's next, with this date attached, January 7th, 2026. Now, a little known fact about how Stranger Things drops their episodes, it usually lands on a Wednesday, and guess what? Today is the 5th, which is a Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday, which is the 6th. And then the 7th is a Wednesday. And if you don't believe me, just read this. The first 4 episodes, being volume 1, dropped on a Wednesday, November 26th. And then, of course, the second volume dropped Christmas Day, which landed on a Thursday, but that could be excused. But then, the finale episode, which dropped on New Year's Eve, was also a Wednesday. Now, hey, I don't know how many more dots I need to connect, but here's one more. If we look at the very last episode ever aired, it shows a die that lands on the number 7. And then we go all the way back to the very first episode ever aired. We have this said by Will. The roll. It was a 7. The Demogorgon got me. Bro, what? Alright, dude, I'm gonna end this shit here because I genuinely think I'm losing my mind. Like, at the start of this video, I was kind of making this video like as a joke, like, hey, this might happen. Holy shit.
It should be yellow. It's not swirly. It should be yellow. hold on. That's it. Comfort and happiness? Could you be more trite? I thought you were some kind of master storyteller or something. Dropped out.
That finale is not real. When Mike is staring into the upside down and it cuts to black, you can actually hear Vecna's heartbeat, and that only happens if you're under Vecna's trance. Vecna also tells Will that he needs him to spy for him one last time. Where would Will be spying for Vecna? It would be in his memories, making sure that no one is coming to get Mike out of them. That's why Hopper, not 11, comes to Mike and says, I knew I'd find you here, in the one area that they're still rebuilding in Hawkins. If you pay attention to a Squawk album, it says Just Another Brick Part 2. This area that they're constantly building but never finishing seems exactly like the place that Mike needs to go in order to get out of Vecna's trance. In the graduation, they're all wearing orange, which means one thing. They're prisoners, but prisoners of who? When Mike is going into the graduation and he pays attention to the speakers, what do you hear? An alarm bell. Why is that alarm bell playing? Because they're running out of time, because he is actually in Vecna's trance. We are definitely getting new episodes, and that's going to come this week on January 7th. That finale is not...
Boyfriend thinks he solved Stranger Things Season 5. So, be nice.
Okay, guys, listen up. I have actual proof, not just theories, I have evidence that everything we just saw was fake. All right, my first piece of evidence. What do you see wrong with this scene? And it's not the fact that they're trying to kill Vecna. 11's in water. Water cannot exist in the upside down. C went through water gates in a lake. There's no water. Barbara, she's in a pool. Once again, no water. And that really weird out of place scene where the guard pees on a wall, it evaporates, it sizzles because, again, you cannot have water or pee in the upside down. And this is why I believe that Mike is cursed. Let me show you. The first episode, what is Mike starting with? Oh, that's right, coffee. What do you see him drinking later in the season? More coffee. He's in the hospital. He's drinking coffee. Mike is sleep deprived and showing signs of being cursed, just like Max was. Okay, now what's the next part about Vecna's curse? You have to be traumatized, going through mental distress. What happens to Mike's sister? Oh, that's right. She gets attacked. What happens to his mom? Also attacked and possibly almost killed. Look at Mike and watch and listen carefully. Huh, what happened to his arm there? Because that looked pretty painful. You could hear the snap, but somehow in the next episodes, he's completely fine and his arm is working? Weird. Okay, so to prove my point here, listen carefully. It sounds like somebody is saying, wake up. Why does it sound like somebody's saying, wake up to Mike? So look at the graduation. Every single person is doing Vecna's pose. The people, and if you look here, even the parents and teachers in the audience, I know it's blurred, but they're also doing the same pose. Why? I understand the kids doing it, but why are they also copying the same pose? Okay, so to prove Mike's in this Vecna curse, one, he's distressed, his parents were hurt, Holly's kidnapped, he's going through a lot of things similar to when Max was also cursed. He's drinking coffee, he's not getting enough sleep. Great. The scene with the radio tower goes from white to red, which could be an error or a signal that we're in a dream. Once again, just like the water. Lastly, Mike's biggest fear is 11 dying, which happens. And if you listen closely, that kind of sounds exactly like Vecna's chiming clock. What do you think, Bentley? Basically, everyone in this season is fake.
We
are getting the real finale of Stranger Things Season 5 on January 7th, supposedly. Netflix posted your future is on the way to January 7th. Behind the scenes of Joyce at Enzo's wearing a completely different outfit, saying this is the fake version, and this is a clue. 12 of the kids wearing sunglasses. Them posting this clock pointing to 7 is definitely really weird, and see them all with Henry's dance. On the radio station it says Volume 3 is lost. A fan asked why they used future tense when Vecna's already been defeated, and they put also saying they're posting hints she's holding about 5, which is 5 days before January 7th. They posted this yesterday showing number 4, score 4 right here. Actually still says one last episode on Netflix UK. Someone said Netflix has a gaming app. I've been playing the Stranger Things puzzled event. Doesn't end until January 7th. They said they wrote the finale on red paper, and this is the first thing that we've seen of it. Now I feel like this is actually important. Just pause to read all of this. They're saying the Duffers are filming us getting played, and this was all Mike's trance. Where's Karen's scars? They are definitely gone. This, here, this. Henry said it's not over until the song ends, and the song never ended. This. They're saying this is probably just the announced date of the new Stranger Things show. I would love for this to happen, but I think it's probably just that. It would be crazy if they released another one.
The official Stranger Things TikTok page may have just confirmed the existence of a secret 9th episode. So at the time of making this video, about 8 hours ago, the official TikTok page for Stranger Things dropped this video of the kid's teacher, Mr. Clark, with the caption, "The best damn science teacher that town has ever seen." But if you look behind him here, what time does the clock say? 1:07. 1-7. Supposedly, the secret episode that fans are calling Conformity Gate is supposed to release on January 7th. 1-7. And if that's not enough for you, check this out. If you go to any of the TikTok page's videos and type, "I believe," this is what happens. Which is of course a callback to the end of the last episode where the kids all say that they believe Elle is still alive. But if you then go and type "fake ending," this is what you see. Why would they put that in there? And a couple more details that I missed in my last video. After the group has defeated the Mind Flayer and Vecna, so they think, in this scene she's in the radio station 18 months later. Now someone noticed that the shelf behind Robin containing the cassette tapes looked kind of suspicious, because we all have so much time on our hands. He identified it to be Morse code, and apparently what it says is, "You did not stop me." What? And then there's this scene where Lucas looks like he's looking directly at the camera and says this.
"I don't know about you guys, but I don't believe in coincidences."
Vecna, live!
And also, each of the kids have someone wearing glasses very similar to Henry's sitting behind their left shoulder. And in the finale, Steve becomes a baseball coach when we've only ever seen him play basketball. But who saw him with a baseball bat? Vecna. The song that plays at the end, Heroes by David Bowie, the first time when we think we have a happy ending with Will, but we don't, and the other when Hopper is believed to have sacrificed himself, but didn't, both being fake endings.
Because